Ohio gozaimasu. So this is day 6, recap of day 16 yesterday. This has been my most interesting, the most interesting part of my trip here. So I got packed up and yesterday in Hiroshima and made my way to the train station. Wanted to make sure I got there early enough so I didn't have any worries. Had time to go. This train station, just like the others, is part train station, part mall. So once I had a chance to go and hit the ATM at 7-Eleven, which is interesting when you're standing in one 7-Eleven and you look out and not 50 feet away is another 7-Eleven. And I know for a fact that there are like 2 or 3 more in the area right behind me, as well as, that's just one convenience store brand. There's the Family Marts and the Lawsons that are everywhere too. Not as prevalent as 7-Eleven, but anywho, go to 7-Eleven to hit the ATM. It's always a good option. It's a safe bet you can get money out at the ATM at a 7-Eleven. But did that and then went back downstairs to the grocery store in the bottom of the building, full-on grocery store, to get some food for the train. And then I go upstairs to where my train is and decide I'm going to wait. I've got 25 minutes before my train. So I'm standing exactly where I need to be to catch my train. And the trains are pretty, not pretty, they're very accurate in terms of time. In fact, there was a news story where they had to apologize. Actually had to make a public apology because they had left a minute early, which might not seem like that big a deal, but these tickets are on these trains. It might as well be plane tickets in some cases. So yeah, if they left a minute early, that would be a big deal. So I'm standing there and I see a couple trains come and go, and I'm getting on a Sakura train. So I'm waiting for the Sakura train to show up, and one pulls up right in front of me. At my train was at 10:48. This one pulls up at 10:45, I think. It's like, okay, I can get on it, get seated, get in my reserved seat, and then it'll pull off at 10:48. No, it pulls off early. And I'm looking at my reserved seat, and I'm like, someone's in that seat. And I'm like, am I on the wrong train? And before I can even finish that thought, the train is moving. So I have a connection that I have to make. So I have to figure out what to do. And I finally realized that this train is also going to stop at the same place that my original connection is going to be. So I just have to hope that no one gets on and I'm in their seat. So I just kind of relaxed and checked with the train conductor when he came by. And it's fine, I was going to make my connection. And I do make my connection to get to Nagasaki. And I've been asking my Airbnb host to please send me your actual address, how you would actually put it into Google Maps, because when you click on get directions or use the address that's in Airbnb, they don't exist. There's something wrong with them, and Google can't find them, and they'll send me to the wrong place. So I asked for the directions, and I'd been waiting for a response and hadn't gotten one, and so I was trying to look the place up myself, and I finally did, and I'm looking at it on the map and trying to get the transit options to get there, and it says there are no transit options to get there, and it's 35 minutes from the train station. Which sets in the first panic of, wait a minute, there's no trains, there's no buses, nothing to get out there. If I have to take a taxi for 35 minutes, that's going to be expensive, and I need to go back and forth 4 times. That was starting to freak me out, and so I had sent a message to my host and was like, are there any buses or any other trains or any options? He's like, no, you got to take a taxi. So I was like, great, I got to take a taxi. So I get to the train station and I hit the ATM again because I need to have enough money just to pay for the taxis. And finally get a taxi and sit for a couple minutes just as I get into the taxi because they're trying to figure out where this place is. I have no clue. I've given them the address that the host said to give them, and they still can't figure it out. Eventually, I end up having to, call. I'm able to call the host and let him talk to the taxi driver so he could figure out where to go. But in all their confusion of trying to figure out where to get to, the money was ticking up on the cab. It might have been about $10, roughly 1,000 yen, roughly $10 worth of my time just with them trying to figure it out. So as we're doing this drive, I'm realizing I'm going further and further out into the mountains. So I'm getting a little concerned about where I'm staying, and we eventually get here. It was roughly $50 for this cab ride, which is making me feel real good about this decision. And I pull up, and this place is interesting. I don't know if it still is, but it most definitely used to be a love hotel. That's what they call them here in Japan. They rent rooms by the hour or by the day. It's up to you. They have lovely accoutrements in this place. The things that they provide you, the services that you can order in the little laminated flip book. And it's definitely the decor is, I'd say, from the 70s. But I made a video of the place, so you can check that out. That's in the additional photos and videos. Interesting setup. But I get here, I come inside, and I realized driving up here, I was like, there's stuff that's not far, but it's not necessarily like safe, walkable area. There's a long tunnel I had to come through in order to get here. That's going back towards the town area where there's the coin laundry I wanted to go to, and the convenience stores I wanted to go to, and the restaurants and all these things I wanted to go to, but it didn't look like a safe way to walk through the tunnel. It just didn't feel safe. And I kind of walked around to see what was in this area, and it's just like maybe 17 of these little villas. It's a standalone structure that I'm in. They're all separate, but there was nobody around except for the lady who's cleaning. And when I stepped out, I realized I can't lock my door when I leave. There's no way to lock the door. I'm very thankful that at least I'm in Japan and I'm out in the middle of nowhere, so they wouldn't necessarily, no one's going to think to come in here. But that doesn't make you feel good when you can't lock the door and you've left your belongings here. I guess most people don't stay that long to worry about it. So I decided to check the list of amenities to see if they had on Airbnb and see if everything lines up. There's no refrigerator. This thing back here used to be one of those things you pay to get drinks or whatever out. It's empty, and you can't put anything in it to keep it cool. There's no microwave or anything. There's that thing right up there. Let me see if I can, this. For hot water for coffee or tea. That's about it. It said breakfast provided on Airbnb. They don't provide breakfast. And given where I am, I was like, I've got to figure out food. So I looked on Google Maps, and they said that there was I think it's Yakitori place that's, 10-minute walk. It's like, okay, I'm going to brave this 10-minute walk. I'm literally walking on the side of the road, trying to stay between that white line the cars is going to stay in, and whatever side of the road there is. Eventually get to a spot, there's a sidewalk. So I walk up to the place. It says it's a small little establishment. I go to this establishment, and it's not a restaurant. There were two older Japanese ladies there that were very helpful. Yeah, it's not a restaurant at all. I think maybe it used to be, but it's not now. And in my conversation with them, thankfully using the mic option on Google Translate, so I could say what I needed to, it translated to Japanese, and then they could say what they needed to in Japanese, and it would translate it back to English. This would have been horrendous otherwise. Come to find out that everything that I need is on the other side, through that tunnel. They were very nice enough that they gave me a ride. They stopped what they were doing, they got in the car, and they drove me down to Joyful, this family restaurant, family dining place. Since, they asked me if I wanted something expensive or something cheap, and I was like, I'll go on the cheap. I have to spend all this money on cab fare. So they took me there, and they gave me a coupon, actually. And then they pointed out that there is a bus stop right around the corner from there. It's like 1 block away is the bus stop. It would have been really nice to know, asking the host how to get here, would have been nice to know that there's a bus, so that I could have spent, I don't know, it could have been upwards to $5 as opposed to $50. But I had dinner, and I walked to the 7-Eleven to grab some things that I could have here for breakfast that didn't require any kind of refrigeration or any require being heated up. And I discovered where the bus stop is. And then I decided I need to figure out, okay, how do I figure out this bus route? Because you can see that there's a bus stop on Google Maps, but it doesn't tell you what the bus stop is. It doesn't tell you the name of the bus stop. I can see the schedule, but today's Sunday. I see for the days of the week and Saturday. So I'm like, does that mean the bus doesn't run on Sunday? That doesn't make any sense. So I sent an email to my host, and he's like, oh yeah, the bus there's 2 buses that'll take you to Nagasaki station. So you knew about the buses, but you just didn't tell me which bus to take. Great, you didn't tell me that was an option. It's like, okay, lesson learned. I walk back. That's an interesting walk. I wanted to make sure I got back before dark. I didn't want to be walking down the street and through the tunnels and in the dark. It just didn't seem very safe. So I made it back. It's like, okay, I'm gonna take a shower and then a nice soaking bath in that big, massive tub that they've got, and they've even got some peach-scented, I guess, stuff that you put in your bath water. So I go to take a shower, and they have 2 separate areas. There's the tub, and then there's the standing shower area with the hose. And I'm going to actually, in Japan, you shower before you get and soak in the tub because you don't want to have, any oils or dirt on your body in the water that you're soaking in. So I go to take a shower, and I can't get any hot water. I wait like 4 minutes. I can't get it through the faucet on the shower side or through the hose on the shower side. It's like, okay, let me try the tub. Turn on the hot water after a moment. Okay, hot water, great. So I turned that off, figured maybe it's the same system. I can just now get hot water through the shower. And I did for like 30 seconds, and then it turned to cold water, and I couldn't get it to come back. So I tried the tub again, but then not only did it not really give me hot water, but then the water came to a trickle. Lost all water pressure. So I eventually just kind of decided, okay, I'll soak in the tub. It took about 45 minutes to fill it up. I eventually figured it out, but it was just another thing on the long list of, yeah, this Airbnb sucks. They have nice robes. They give you these. That's okay. You can watch TV or listen to the radio. But yeah, this isn't a good option. So I just decided to try and just relax and calm down and try to get some sleep, because it's gonna be a long day. I gotta go figure out this bus thing. But yeah, this was my biggest Airbnb mistake. But looking on Airbnb, this was the only place in all of Nagasaki. This is the only option. there weren't any others. It's like, this was my only choice, except for maybe a hotel, which might run me, I mean, even the capsule hotels, which I was looking at those. So far, I could only find one for men, and they were in the $60 to $70 a night range. Which, if I had known about the taxi ride and how that was the way to get here initially, that might have seemed like a bargain, but the hotels would have been really expensive. So I've figured it out enough. I'll make it work. I might end up, I'll have to see how I feel walking to the bus stop this morning to see if that's going to be my option for tomorrow morning when I leave. If I want to carry all my heavy bags and walk 30 minutes to the bus stop, and then I don't know when the bus will come or how long it'll take. All these things I got to figure out. Of course, I'd also have to figure out how to call for a taxi to take me back. Anyway, interesting. So I'm going to call it on this recap video and get started on my day. Okay, hope you enjoyed. Bye.